The Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, CAADAP, is an African-owned and Africa-led initiative of the new Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD, established in July 2003 by African heads of state and governments, and focuses on improving and promoting agriculture across Africa. CAADAP aims to eliminate hunger and reduce poverty through agriculture. It brings together key players at the continental, regional and national levels to improve coordination, share knowledge, successes and failures, to encourage one another and to promote joint and separate efforts to achieve its goals.
The Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Program is a program of the African Union. This is a program which came in place after a decision of Maputo. The heads of state came together and did realize that agriculture is very important and they require a framework to guide their investment. So this is what CAADAP is all about. It's all about commitment, it's all about giving it attention. They realized that agriculture is so important and they decided that, one, they must have resource flow into it. In that regard, they said at least 10% of their national budget should go to agriculture, and that's the minimum market. Then they said, if agriculture grew by 6%, then the countries definitely will have a foundation for development. It would have a foundation for the livelihood of the people.
Rwanda was the first country to sign its CAADAP compact in 2007. The compact was endorsed by the government of Rwanda, development partners, the African Union, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, the private sector and civil society. The compact was built on Rwanda's Vision 2020, the first Economic Development and Poverty Reduction Strategy EDPRS-1, the National Aid Policy, and the Joint Donors Statement.
These programs have helped us put money in farmers' pockets. Yes, farmers have secured their food, but they've also been able to increase their surplus. And we put in a lot of effort, again, around the CAADAP period. Since 2010, actually, we put in a lot of effort in managing post-harvest losses.
Ubuzima bwanjye uko nabayeho ndi umukene cyane. Naje kugira ngo ngire ubuzima bwiza ari uko mbonye izi nka mureba. Nibwo natangiye kumva nanjye ndi umuntu.
Having successfully implemented the first cycle of CAADAP, the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources is now embarking on the second cycle of CAADAP in order to operationalize the country's second economic development and poverty reduction strategy, which will run from 2013 to 2017, and the third phase of the strategic plan for the transformation of agriculture.
That's critical. That's number one. That's the most important, that would be able to secure our food security at the national level. Second, we've been able to grow and reduce poverty. Part of the poverty reduction we've seen in the last 5 years that coincides with the CAADAP period has been mostly because we've done a lot of investments in agriculture. Some of those has been, like I said, crop intensification that sees farmers use more inputs, have better access to inputs, have better access to improved seed. We've been able to introduce programs like land consolidation that ensures no farmer left behind, that ensures extension for all farmers.
Between 2008 and 2012, GDP growth averaged 8.2% annually, which exceeded the expectations of EDPRS and translated into an annual GDP per capita growth of 5.6%. Income per capita reached $644 in 2012, the second highest in the East African region.
By the 28% annual growth, it's not something that is small. So you can see that our government is in line with CAADAP as singling out agriculture to be the key driver of economic growth.
It is a key pillar in the economic transformation. And the country is making a very consistent progress at moving from subsistence agriculture into more commercial-oriented agriculture.
The Joint Comprehensive Food Security and Vulnerability Assessment and National Nutrition Survey in 2012 revealed households falling below the minimum food requirement from 35% under CAADAP 1, with clear relationships with increases in agriculture production and productivity. Rwanda experienced under CAADAP 1 one of the fastest periods of growth and socio-economic progress in its history. Economic development was rapid, poverty reduction deep and sustained, and growth has benefited both rich and poor.
In the sense that commodities like maize, we did a triple increase in maize output. We did, for commodities like potatoes, we've even had like a 10-fold increase in potato output. For commodities like wheat, we've seen like a double increase in output. And this is what has contributed to food security, and this is what has contributed to farmers getting a little bit of incomes, which translates into what we call poverty reduction in the last 5 years, where we saw 12% poverty reduction.
So far, Rwanda has made a giant step towards agricultural transformation and economic development based to budget allocation in agriculture sector that developed consistent programs that boosted the yield. To achieve these tremendous goals, the government of Rwanda has worked hand in hand with various development partners, the private sector and stakeholders by involving farmers to own the activities.
To achieve this, to have a continuous dialogue with the ministry on how to improve, on how to organize and how to prepare the monthly meetings, and how to make sure that the sub-working groups, for example on fertilizer issues, on environmental issues, report regularly back to the main plenary.
In that working group, you find there are lots of development partners, there are NGOs, there is the private sector which I represent. So it's dialogue about agricultural development in general.
Witnessing the partnership, the sector working group feels happy and humbled to work in such facility environment where accountability is the motto to a dynamic change.
And experience has shown that when you invest in the woman in the rural area, she's able to produce food for the household and have a surplus for selling, going to the market to sell and increasing access to the food that is required by others who actually do not engage in agriculture.
Rwanda's CAADAP 2 comes to review the achievements of CAADAP 1, including lessons learned. It also launches Rwanda's second agriculture investment plan with clear prioritization of investment needs, funding modalities, harmonization of stakeholder activities for efficient delivery and stronger accountability mechanism.
Recently, we've had a bigger challenge in the sense that we are seeing climate change becoming more important, and that has kind of eaten into our growth, the fact that we lose a lot of crop before it's ready because of climate change. So CAADAP 2 is going to be focusing on some of this.
Welcome to Rwanda, a country of 1,000 hills and 1,000 opportunities.